Hello, my lovely children. How are you today? Everything's fine? I'm so happy to hear this. And today we are with lesson number 4, a religion in China. And just one more time to make short review about Confucius. Confucius put a high value on family life in China. Most families in China were large, and these families included grandparents as well as the parents. There were clear rules to follow. If everyone followed these rules, the family would have a peace and good fortune. Confucius believed the same way is true of the government. Countries needed strong leaders in order to keep harmony and peace. So we have again this repeat and again you see through all this part of Asia we have harmony, peace, peaceful way to everything be nice, good for all of them and so on. So this is the base of all religion in this part of world and nowadays as well. And Confucius believed that if government follow this way, everything will be good for all people. Confucianism continued to grow even though the Qing dynasty did not approve it. During the Han dynasty, remember this well, so during the Han dynasty, Confucianism became the official philosophy of China. So I told you before that is more philosophy than religion. And you will see later, after we finish this lesson, I will explain you more about this, why it's like this, because they doesn't have God. They didn't have a holy book, holy Bible like in other religion and so on. But in the end of this lesson I prepare one video for you just to see how nowadays in comparison with other religion how it's working in China nowadays. So that's why this is more philosophy. Yes, philosophy is believing in something which is good. Yes, and the base of all religion is something good. Yes, to make good things with our friends, with people, with sisters, brothers, with your friends in school, with all of us, like to make something good like you want for yourself. So I highlighted here philosophy. Remember this well, okay? We have one more religion in ancient China. Taoism. The Han also supported a religion called Taoism. Taoism began around 500 BC, also during the period of the varying states. The book of Taoism called Tao Te Ching. Taoism teaches people to follow the way of nature. And remember this, what was the teaching of this religion? Follow the way of nature. In other words, people should look to nature to see how to live. For example, think of a river. How does the water behave? The water follows the easiest route to move around rocks. It always heads for the lowest point. Over time, the river is powerful enough to bear any way hardest rocks. Okay? Taoism teaches that people should follow the example. They shouldn't work too hard. They should not worry about having power. They should not worry about getting rich. Instead, people should be patient. Yes, and these days, like in all this situation, we become very worried and thinking about a lot of things, and this brings us a lot of stress. So we should like calm down, take time, think about other things, like think in peaceful way, in a harmony way, and instead people should be like take time to wait, be patient. Good things will come if they move through life the way water moves a river. So this is very good sentence from this religion, and you should remember this. This can help. And both Confucianism and Taoism become important in China. Confucianism applied to those looking for clear rules, and Taoism was followed by people wanting more freedom and fewer rules. Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism all have survived over the centuries. They are sometimes called Eastern religion because they began in Asia. The religion are still practiced mostly in Asia, but people in all parts of the world have been affected by these teachings.
When you hear the word China, what images pop into your head?
And to understand religion in China.
The Great Wall? Chinese New Year fireworks? Either way, it's not likely to be a church or a mosque. China is a secular state. No surprise then that China has a population of people who say belong to no religion. But does no religion mean no moral code? Confucianism isn't a religion. It has no gods and doesn't promise an afterlife. But for 2,500 years, the teachings of Confucius have profoundly affected the morals and behavior of Chinese people. Confucianism holds that humans are fundamentally good and can improve through their own efforts. It lays emphasis on acting morally and treating others with compassion. It sees the family as the foundation stone of community, and a harmonious society as the greatest good. Chinese citizens have the constitutional right to follow a religion if they wish, and many religions have emerged and flourished here. Taoism is said to have been founded by Lao Tzu. It promotes the unity of opposites, spiritual virtue, and self-development. Many Taoist sayings have become famous around the world. Without darkness, there can be no light. A journey of 1,000 miles starts under your feet. Taoism has influenced China's ancient folk religions. Their festivities are still a major feature of Chinese life. Take Tomb Sweeping Festival, where ancestors are venerated and remembered, and Dragon Boat Festival, which commemorates the death of an ancient poet and minister. Both are now national holidays and celebrated by families across the country. Other major religions have arrived from outside China, evolving and adapting to become their own unique Chinese versions. Buddhism arrived in waves over the last 2,000 years along the Silk Road, over the Himalayas from India, and from Southeast Asia. As a result, Chinese Buddhism is a unique blend of different schools mixed with folk religion and Taoism. Buddhism has had a strong influence on Chinese thought and culture, and is the most popular religion in China today. With more than 220,000 monks and nuns, and hundreds of millions of people who believe in Buddhism. Islam arrived in China with Arab traders and diplomats in the 7th century. Tang Dynasty Emperor Tai Zong immediately made the welcoming gesture of building China's first mosque, which still stands in Guangzhou. Today Muslims are distributed through China, especially in areas inhabited by ethnic minorities, like the Hui, who speak Mandarin and live mainly in the north and west. China is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious civilization, and there are around 23 million Chinese Muslims. The rise of Christianity is the real surprise. Christians first settled in China as early as the 700s, but numbers were small until the 20th century. Today, it's growing fast, with around tens of millions of Chinese Christians. In terms of belief, Chinese Christianity is the same as Christianity elsewhere, but the church administration is handled independently by the Chinese authorities. Despite this long-standing religious diversity, China has never suffered the cataclysm of religious wars. There's a history of religious tolerance here going back at least 1,000 years. In Chuanzhou, Fujian, Taoists, Buddhists, Muslims and Christians have lived side by side for generations. The city's long history of trade and immigration created a tolerant, cosmopolitan and prosperous community. As China is a country where there's freedom of religious belief, no one is forced to follow or give up a religion. The government offers equal public services and social security, whether citizens are believers or not. For example, all monks and nuns in Xizang now get a basic living allowance, health insurance and a pension. In some places, the government has put regulations in place to support the production of halal food. Annually, aided by a medical team, more than 14,000 Chinese Muslims make the pilgrimage to Mecca. So when you think of China now, do some different images come into your mind?
How China these days, it's not only about one or two religions, there is a lot of religion and they live in peace. And I just wanted to show you that you can understand a little bit and that you can different view of China these days. And let's make short review from this lesson. Confucianism taught the highest goal of government was to keep the peace. He said the best rulers were fair and just. Centuries after Confucius died, his ideas became more popular. Under the Han Dynasty, Confucianism became the official philosophy of China. Taoism began around 500 BC. It taught that people should look to nature to see how it acts. Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism and Taoism all began in Asia. They are still practiced today by people all over the world. Okay, so my lovely children, my lovely students, we finish with last lesson in this quarter. Soon you're going to have a revision and your final exams and quizzes. And before that, I wish you a nice holiday. I wish you all the best. God bless you. Celebrate in harmony and peace. And this is going to pass soon. And inshallah, see you soon in school. And take care. I love you so much. Big hug from me. And I'm sending you the best wishes. Bye bye.